Several factors make a Fortnite boss memorable, and it's not just about how tough they are to fight. Bosses with unique appearances, animations, and interesting soundtracks tend to stick in players' minds more than those that seem basic. Some bosses have lasted the test of time and remained in players' minds to this day. Unfortunately, because they're gone, players don't get the chance to see them often. Some bosses stand out because of the challenge, their personality, or the events surrounding their creation. When they're gone, it's like a hole was made that only their presence can fill. Unfortunately, not many bosses return, and some are part of limited time collaborations, so they can't return. Due to this, there are plenty of bosses that players would like to see return to Fortnite. Darth Vader being added as a boss in Fortnite was a smart move. His recognizable presence, even to those who aren't Star Wars fans, really improved the ambience of the collab. His abilities like force pull, leap and throw introduced more strategy into the fight against him. He also wasn't a pushover, he had a lot of health and powerful attacks, making him feel a little unfair. That and the stormtroopers made things even better. Bringing Vader back would please fans who enjoyed facing him and likely attract new players wanting to challenge a legendary character. His presence improved the overall gameplay, and if Fortnite were to bring a boss back, not many would mind seeing Darth Vader return to eliminate some players. The Inquisitor was one of those bosses that shouldn't have been as good as he was in Fortnite. Unlike most bosses that wander around, the Inquisitor had a summoning mechanic, so players had to actively bring him into the match. It made it much more fun because part of the strategy to fight the Inquisitor was summoning and planning it out. Plus, since he only showed up once per match, there was a race to summon him first. The loot he dropped was also very helpful. He offered a suppressed submachine gun and a pumpkin launcher. Bringing him back would add a fresh and fun twist to any event, even though he's more suited to Fortnite mares than anything else. The Foundation is an interesting boss in Fortnite because of his cool design, background story, and fun gameplay. His large size made him stand out, but it made sense when it was clear The Rock was voicing him. He had the most health of any boss when he was introduced, which meant players really needed to work hard to beat him down. His energy ball attack looked so cool, and it would be great to add it back temporarily on its own. Additionally, his AI behavior was unique. He only attacked if provoked, allowing players to approach him carefully or watch him without immediate danger. The Foundation is still important to Fortnite's overall story, so it wouldn't be out of place to bring him back. If anything, it'd add a lot of nostalgia. Gunnar, the imagined Order Enforcer, is a Fortnite boss who stood out as being more versatile with his movements. Many other bosses would just constantly attack the player, but Gunnar used his jetpack to his advantage. His jetpack charge required players to time their moves carefully to dodge and counterattack, which made the battle more engaging than just shooting mindlessly. The main strategy was to hold off until the 10-second break after he used his jetpack ability, but it was fun either way. He was a boss in Fortnite who felt like a video game boss, and not just a bullet sponge, which many bosses tend to be today. Gunnar is somewhat forgotten, but those who fought against him will remember him. Peter Griffin's short time as a boss in Fortnite left more of an impression than it should have. He was mostly just a gag character who would only be there briefly. However, players latched onto him, and honestly he was really fun to fight. For some odd reason, he was way too good at combat, often threw grenades at the perfect time, and was efficient at eliminating players. Unless players got the drop on him, it was a real tough firefight to win. The cartoonish look fit perfectly with the game, making him stand out from other bosses. His personality really came through, with funny lines taken from classic Family Guy scenes that matched what he was doing in the game. Plus, his unique defeat animation, where he grabs his knee as a nod to a classic joke, added a delightful touch. Deadpool was probably the smartest boss to bring into Fortnite. People loved Deadpool then, and still do if anything. The character has only become more popular with time. Bringing him back would be a hit with players. He stood out because of his mix of humor and combat skills, making fighting him different from bosses who relied on strength. His witty personality was shown in his emotes and the fun setting of the yacht. This location and his signature dual hand cannons made the boss fight memorable. Deadpool is also a very popular Marvel character, making him a big draw for the game. Every time Marvel crosses over with Fortnite, it's a total win. Fortnite would likely get a hail of cheers if the developers could bring back Deadpool again. Wolverine being added as a boss in Fortnite was a great move for the character and gameplay. His special abilities change how players had to approach the fight. With super speed, the ability to heal himself and regenerate health, he forced players to develop new strategies instead of just shooting at him alone. He wasn't an easy target, and it often required using squads just to beat him. His location in the Weeping Woods Slurpy Swamp area was also a good fit because of the atmosphere. Bringing back Wolverine would please fans who want a tough and unique boss and freshen up the game's use of its forests. Fortnite does well with its use of space, but it feels like going into cars is a given. So players don't spend much time just looking around like they would on the way to fight Wolverine. The Mandalorian was another awesome boss that shouldn't have been so beloved. The show was incredibly popular and his weapon was a one-shot dream. His design perfectly captured the character's gritty bounty hunter look, but fit well into Fortnite's colourful world. More than just looking good, the Mandalorian was tough as nails to beat since he'd used the jetpack at what felt like random times. Additionally, the Mandalorian moved around his area, making him hard to beat because he could find players before they had found him. The rewards for beating him, his sniper rifle and jetpack, were so overpowered that most people tried to beat him before eliminating other players. His return would bring back fond memories for veteran players while offering newcomers a tough but rewarding challenge. Jules would be a great choice to bring back as a boss in Fortnite. She got a lot of credit for being Midas' daughter, but she took it and made everyone love her for her own attitude and style. Additionally, Jules had a unique loot pool. One of her standout rewards was the glider gun, which was way too powerful but worth the effort of beating her. Bringing Jules back would trigger nostalgia for longtime players and introduce a gameplay style that's currently missing from the game. The originality that Fortnite used to have has been very diluted with all the collabs and events. It's not bad to have collabs, but now it feels like the game has gone off course from the original storyline. Midas is arguably the most loved boss in Fortnite. His design stands out with his golden skin and semi-professional attire, making him look wealthy and powerful, which is different from many other characters in the game. He also had a great storyline that made him seem like the best of the best Fortnite could offer, and that is still true today. Midas was not just visually impressive, but also added a strong challenge to the game. With a lot of health and a powerful drum gun, players had to essentially get a big group to jump him. Those around the time will remember how unfairly overpowered Midas was initially. Some were just so good that they took him out alone, but plenty needed to use underhanded tactics and a prayer to beat Midas when he was a boss. This is partly due to his henchmen and security systems, which made encounters far harder. Midas returning would be one of the biggest events to come to Fortnite, so it's likely that Epic Games will hold this card in its back pocket until it needs him. However, plenty of players would love Midas and other bosses to return because they had the magic that isn't often seen anymore.